Hi everyone, so this week we are studying the Empress, and as usual and promised, I'm going to give you a video personally introducing the basics of the information. So the Empress is associated to Dalet or Daleth, however you'd like to pronounce it, and Dalet is situated right here. So it's right below the crown, but it's not connected to it. And dalet means the door, and if we can use our imagination, it opens and closes. It's also the passageway or the pillar or the path between wisdom, the cosmic father, and understanding, the cosmic mother. So doors open and close. They are means of passage and entry. So this door could be thought of as the door to life, the door to reality and nature. In number 2, Hokmah, wisdom, is the potential of the zodiacal combinations. So Scorpio, Aries, Pisces, Cancer, all of the zodiacal signs sit in Hokmah. Now, in 3 is associated with the cosmic mother, and thus the planet Saturn. Saturn constricts things down, it concentrates them, just as a mother concentrates life in her womb. Saturn, or Bina, understanding, sucks in the power from Hokmah and concentrates it downward into the tree. Now, this is the last path above the abyss that is only stays above the abyss. Remember, this is the abysmal line. So what's happening is the powers of Hokmah, or the potential of form, is being concentrated into the mother. All right. So next we're going to look at this card. And this is Daleth or Dalet, however you'd like to pronounce it. And this Venus is the astrological association to the Empress. So this is just kind of panning out, what the Empress has to offer. So this is the letter Dalet or Daleth, and this is the Venus symbol. Venus is associated with the color green, just like our natural world. So this is the Empress. This is the AE weight deck, and I'll just give you a couple of the interpretations real quick. So it's said that the letter Dalet is hidden inside of here, inside of her seat. Now, we'll talk about the crown, and we'll talk about the flowing waters. So within the crown, we have 12 stars. And these 12 stars represent the 12 zodiacal signs and also the 12 powers of the universe. The 12 powers of the universe correlate to the zodiacal signs, but they also correlate to 12 Hebrew letters that kind of define our cosmic reality. And as we move through the tarot, we will identify those 12 Hebrew letters. And obviously the 12 zodiacal signs speak for themselves. So part of the 12 letters is Aleph, Bet, Gimel, and Dalet. So we've already really moved through 4 of them so far. So we have the symbol Venus on a shield here. And we also have these waters flowing down from the previous card. The waters are said to be the waters of the high priestess flowing from her gown. So if we remember last week, she had a gown on, a headdress, and a nice blue gown, and that represents the waters, the fluidity of subconsciousness. So the fluid part of our reality holds life. Water holds life. And when we act upon our subconscious nature, which is the programming of how our cells work and how everything works together, when our self, the sense of I, or the magician, our will, works upon our subconscious nature, we can get fruits. And that is what is being shown here with the wheat. Now, what we choose to focus our energy on is what gives us our fruit. So sometimes our wheat can rot, sometimes our wheat gets mold, sometimes our wheat is unhealthy. And it's really all how we want to concentrate our flowing waters from the high priestess to manifest our fields of reality, our fields of operation. So the high priestess and the empress are so intertwined with each other. The high priestess is the subconscious workings and recorder, but it is a substance that is pure. It is a substance that is a virgin substance. So the Empress is the pregnant substance of the mind. The Empress is the fruits of how we choose to program our high priestess, how we choose to program our subconsciousness. So obviously the Empress is depicted as a very beautiful character, and she is the epitome of fruitful subconscious programming. So we're going to move on to the builders of the Adyton, or the Paul Foster Case intimation of the Empress. And there are just a couple things here that I want to point out. So if we remember, this card is very similar, but it does have its subtle differences. So I want to point out the roses in the background, and initially the magician was in a rose garden, and the rose garden represents our desires. So the Empress is tied up with Venus, and Venus represents desire, emotion, how we want to act upon the world with our emotional nature. So what is being shown here is that when we use our desires for good and surround ourselves with good thoughts, we actually can harvest our desires and put them at our throne of operation, at our means of willpower. So when our desires and our emotional drives line up as one, we can harvest it and use it as a beautiful subject of observation. I'd like to also point out the dove here, which represents the Holy Ghost, and it basically means that wherever we go, we have the powers of spirit with us in the natural and physical world, as the high priestess is the door to physical reality. Next, we're going to move on, and we're going to delineate from symbolism to, so we're going to start with the Rider-Waite deck and just move backwards. And as we get through the video, it's going to be less and less like the Rider-Waite deck and more esoteric in nature. So here we have the Thompson Lang Tarot, and the Empress is still sitting in a wheat field, and we still have the waterfall here, but the she's actually has wings here. So we could interpret this many different ways. Her being an angel from above, or her being the doorway to reality, or the last stop on the abysmal plane. I also want to point out the bird here. Instead of a dove, it's more depicted as an eagle, which actually ties in with the astrological sign Scorpio. Now, Scorpio is assigned to the 13th key, the death card. And if we kind of fast forward a little bit, 13 and 3 are so tied up with each other that 3 and 13, well, 13 is just a 1 in front of 3. So it's the powers of 3 addressing the 1. Now, the Empress is said to be a pregnant figure. It's said to be the Mother Mary that holds Jesus within her womb. So the Empress is a doorway to life, but is also a doorway to death as well, because when there is life, there is also death. And it also intimates that how we choose to use our subconscious realities is also fruitifying and filling the earth, but also passing away with time and evolving as well. So there's more in this card, but we're going to move on. Now we're going to look at the Nap Hall Tarot. And here we can really see the Empress harnessing the eagle. Now the eagle also has to do with alchemy. I haven't really done my homework on it, but I just wanted to let you know that eagles are in alchemy as well. If anybody wants to go out and, do a little extra homework. Here up in the corner, the Nap Hall deck also puts crests in each of the corners, heraldic crests. And here we actually have the supernal triad. The supernal triad is Kether, Hokmah, and Bina above the abyss. Another thing that I really enjoyed about this card was these little eyes at the very bottom, almost as if we're all looking up into the doorway of dalet, into the Empress energy that is giving us life. So this is the Nap Hall Tarot. Next, we're going to move into the Aleister Crowley Tarot. And here we have a myriad of different symbols. Aleister Crowley did not waste any time with his symbolism. So, I'm just going to point out the crane. So the crane is basically had been thought in the early 20th century and before then, that it would use its heart to feed its young. So it symbolizes the mother nature, the nature within the mother to sacrifice her own well-being for her young, to keep nature going, to keep evolution moving forward. We also have the Maltese cross, which represents unifying the above and the below through the powers of Binah, through the powers of the Cosmic Father and the Cosmic Mother meeting. One last detail is the crest here and the Venus symbol pointing down. Here we have the Hermetic Tarot by Godfrey Dawson, and as you can see, it truly is starting to deviate away from the original A.E. Waite deck. One thing that I really do like about this card that I'm going to point out is actually the scales at the top. Dalet sits in between Daleth or Dalat, or however you want to say it, sits in between the Cosmic Mother and the Cosmic Father, acting as a means of equilibrium between the two, as they both need balance and have balance within our spiritual and physical universe. So the Empress is very tied up actually with the Justice card and both act as a means of balancing and a means of, creating a equilibrium between forces and powers. So now we have the Marseille deck, and in the Marseille deck you can actually see the eagle. You can see the fleur de lis, which represents domain. The Empress has domain over the passage of power and energy that flows down from the supernal triad. She is the last stop for forces to manifest in our reality. So she has domain over the illuminating intelligences that reach our realm. And last, we're going to look at the Visconti deck, the Visconti Forza deck. And as you can see here, we have the eagle, and she looks very pregnant in this image, and she is the pregnant Mother Mary. Now, if we look a little bit deeper into the card, it almost looks as if this person is nursing from her shield, which is super interesting. And here we have a person pointing down, and she is instructing, asserting her domain upon her clergy members, upon her court. There is a lot of symbolism in this card for a card that came out in the 1400s. It's absolutely stunning and amazing. We also have the powers of Venus, symbolized by the green and green here. And one last thing, Venus and Mars were in a love affair, and here we have the cohesion of the two, which symbolizes the acts of emotional love and beauty and nature, but also reproduction and force and action. So between the two, they created the natural realm in mythology. So I think that's enough for tonight. I don't want to oversaturate you guys and ruin our group discussion. So I hope everyone has a beautiful night and day and week, and we'll catch up soon.